This episode of Super GG Radio is brought to you by our Patreon. Patrons of the show can get our Dogs of Super GG Radio newsletter, Super GG Radio stickers to slap on your closest PC or bag, input on what we cover, game nights with the hosts, and even a chance to win a copy of an indie we talked about. Not only that, but 90% of all patron contributions go to the Children's Miracle Network of hospitals. Visit patreon.com/superggradio to learn more. What's good, Internet? We're going to try take 2 of this because my internet cut out. I think it was my wireless card overheating. Also, apparently there's a storm outside. Nice to hear. I'm Alex Arona, raw dog in this episode. Solo mode, solo dolo mode. Definitely everyone's out on vacation. It is the summertime. People are on cruises. People are doing their windows. People are out with their families. And I'm in here drinking these beers. That's how we're going to do it today. And welcome to session 265, that's way too many episodes, of the Super GG Radio podcast, part of NPR of Illinois. I am your host, Alex Arona, hanging in there while the rest of the crew gallivants. Gallivants is the term I'm going to use today. I should probably tweet out that I am going to be doing this show solo. But you know what? Live tweeting is never good for podcasting. So I'm going to do it as I go. But for the most part, I'm here enjoying myself, knocking out some of those old-fashioned beat lists. And at the same time, just enjoying myself. I have had a diabolical plan for the beat list this year, where our co-host Joel DeWitte has made it a competition. How many games can you beat? And said, I'm definitely going to beat you, Alex. And that's just a blatant lie. He's never beaten me. At anything. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Joel, and you're not even here. So because of that, I have made my master list of over 20 games, all within 4 hours or shorter. And that has definitely been a blast to get through. And I'm going to talk about one of those today. But I'm going to continue on with this episode and enjoy myself because I am enjoying my presence. I can feel comfortable with myself, and that's good positive mental health images. I'm a positive, good mental health image. As I die inside because more Power Wash Simulator DLC just came out, so yeah. There are no other clowns. Getty in the chat. That's not helpful. You are the other clown, and you're not here. And I blame you entirely for this and everything that's been going on. So as the podcast goes, I'd like to discuss just a little bit what this podcast means to me. I have, before even this podcast got started, it all started with Extra Life. Extra Life, the charity event that works with the Children's Miracle Network, that really is just for giving to the kids, and you do so by raising money, marathon style, and then playing video games for as long as possible. In most cases, it's 24 hours. Let's all be healthy. And that's not healthy. And we've been doing that. I did it solo, my first time ever. In my current place, I remember setting this up and doing it myself, testing for days. I had an open door policy, so people would come and visit and hang out and bring me food and snacks, but also just hang out and watch me play video games for 24 hours. And from there, it just kind of became like friends who wanted to also join me. People who were constantly in my Twitch chat. And that was Getty, Alec, and Joel. And after a while, that's how the podcast got started. Getty says I can't put the episode on him because we have 4 people and we did a duo cast last week. I know, Getty. But as always, I always got to do the heavy lifting. Beta breakdown this week. Setting up for another one. Going on vacation. I'm doing all the things. I beat a game today. I'm going to beat a game tomorrow. I will destroy you all. But back to it. The podcast just ended up being a way for, me and my 3, friends who we've been bonding over video games for forever, to hang out and to spend time together and to find the video games that give us the weird and the out there ideas. And that's how I'm going to intro the episode. But first, let's go into early adopters, where we play alphas, betas, and games that loop on top of each other forever. That could be both of these games, because one of the games that we played, let's go over here, is called Cato. I'm going to put this on with the music and make sure... Oh, my audio's not working. Okay. I hope my audio... Is my audio... Yeah, my audio's working now. Okay. And this is not working. Let's make the audio work. Here, man, this is live troubleshooting. I don't even know where the speakers are. Yep, there we go. Perfect. So we got some game audio here. The main thing about this is that there's like a funny joke about cats will always land on their feet. Toast will always land butter side down. What if you put them together and then they would spin forever and never touch the ground? It's a funny little idea, but what if you could make this into a puzzle game where you have a cat who can't jump and a buttered toast that can jump but can't move? The toast can move at angles. The cat can only walk and then sometimes crawl along the walls. That's what Cato is. You have a cat who moves and then the buttered toast that jumps, and sometimes they stick together and they can just fly. They can fly and double jump, triple jump, quadruple jump forever, but the puzzles have you separating them, going separate paths, and recombining. They even add sections where the buttered toast cannot pass, but the cat can, and vice versa. So you have to get the one over to the other. I'm having the footage on screen right now, but just in general, the idea is these puzzle platforming sections. All it is platforming, but also just puzzles. How do we move the toast along up and down this corridor while also trying to move the cat left and right across the floor through these trap doors? It's a cute game. It's pixel art. I would say a little above Super Nintendo, but you get the idea. It's a nice idea that I think that it takes a meme really and turns it into gameplay, which is like that's a fun idea. I think that there are more ways to handle puzzle platforming. We have not dug the well deep enough that we've run out of ideas. That's just not how it works. So because of that, I think that Cato really can kind of come through and pull together some ideas. So I think that if you're looking for another one of those wacky puzzle platformers with some good ideas, Cato, coming soon. And that's back to me. I liked Cato. I liked what I played. It's a little simple. I feel like it'll get more complex as you go, but I feel like we need another mechanic than toast, butter, split, combine. I did see some other things in there, though. There were platforms that, if they were combined, you couldn't use. It wasn't until they were split that you can use. There was also buttons that you press, one for the cat, one for the toast. I do have questions about sentient toast. It's a deep-seated fear that I did not know existed. So thank you, Cato, for revealing how scared I really am of buttered toast. Mm-hmm. Moving on, the second game that I played this week is a little game called... Well, let me find it here. A little game called Looped. Looped is a point-and-click adventure in a real psychedelic way. Real psychedelic. I'm talking like I played a game called Genesis Noir, where you're a detective exploring a black hole at the end of the universe and what caused the Big Bang. And turns out it was a jealous lover who shot a bullet of black hole energy at his ex-lover or something to that effect. And it was just real trippy and wild and very out there. Looped does something similar. You're an astronaut or time-traveling foxman, and you go through different dimensions, and you point and click your way through these little puzzles. Sometimes you're building a new mechanic. It's a short interactive story about love, but also recursive love as this foxman travels through universe to universe, slowly falling in love with this other fox person. but together they're building spaceships, and you're in it again. It's kind of one of those things that they give you like the face of the girl staring at you, and there are hearts around, and your job is to click and grab the hearts and put her in her eyes. Moving on to the next thing. It's very short. These puzzles are very bite-sized, so. I mean, I like to see where these kinds of puzzles go. I like to see what kind of story they're building, but I really want to see how out there they get. Because right now, again, him teleporting from universe to universe and building other time machines, it does. And the art style is this sketchy pencil, like it looks like someone's notebook just sketching, black and white. Really, even just the motion has these little sketch marks and everything like that. It looks really cool and beautiful. It's available on itch.io. It's going to be on iOS. It's going to be on Switch. It just kind of looks... It's just got this style to it. Like one of those style. The style that I feel it speaks to me. It speaks to me. And so I think that Looped has something there for me. I've played a couple of these games before. Again, another one was Birth, which was you are people that have deer skulls as heads, and that was a real kind of dark one, but at the end of the day, it was still just point-and-click adventure, and you're exploring this world. So Looped definitely did make it onto my wish list, just out of the sheer audacity of what kind of artwork they're trying to put together, and I think that does something for me, is that Looped really spoke to me in a way that I felt like... was good. It was good. It did something new. I saw something different, and I said, "Well, I've never seen these fox people time traveling before. That seems new. So maybe that's a me thing." Ooh, this is not working. There we go. Let me make sure my Twitch is still open. There we go. Yeah. So I think that with Looped, I felt like there's a lot more going for it that I'm excited to see for it. I think that there's stuff there that I'm like, oh, okay, I can't wait to try that out. I can't wait to see where that's going. I can't wait to figure out, okay, how do I click and what can I interact with? But that's the plan. Looped. Joel is telling me that he is gone fishing. And I can no longer say the GAME word, which is fine, Getty. I can do this. Let's do this. Don't threaten me with a good time. But that is early adopters. We're going to take our first break here. And when I get back, we might talk about some news. We'll see what happens. And we're back. Back with the news. Now with 75% less podcast hosts? Nailed it, Getty. Nailed it. There's some news. There's also some stuff going on as far as like the video gaming world. Let's see here. Hold on one second. I gotta get this link up here. And I also didn't... I took my break and didn't tweet this out. See here. Okay. Raw digging is not the same thing as I was saying before, so that... No thank you, autocorrect. Okay, and put the link in here into my tweet. I should have thought of that ahead of time. All right, and let's continue. Let's retry that. All right, well, I'm still live, and I'm going to continue to do that. Let's see here. All right, well, it's not letting me send that tweet, so that's annoying. All right, let's continue on with the podcast. I'm going to skip around this. I'm going to edit this part out. For the news, For the news, we had a 1.0 here. We have a game called Minds Beneath Us. Let me pull that up here. Minds Beneath Us. This is a game we played, I think it was last year. It is a thrilling sci-fi journey in a futuristic Asian city in Minds Beneath Us. In society fully automated by advanced AI, you're insured within a foreign body accompanied by its original owner's subconscious. It's a lot of words that there's a word salad. Together face impending challenges and confront an uncertain destiny. This is a 2D, like kind of like a noir crime scene, futuristic. I remember you go into people's brains and you try to figure out crimes, cyber crimes, mental cyber crimes. I could add another adjective in there. I don't know if I want to. A dangerous mental cyber crime. There, I did it. But yeah, this one looked pretty interesting, especially considering how you're finding clues and taking little hints here and there, and then trying to decipher what was really going on. Yeah, it was a good one, and it just went 1.0. I'm yell at Getty here. Continuing on, Sony sees PlayStation VR 2 sales spike over 2,350%. That's not a real number. After dropping price from $550 to $350. That just, I mean, yes, I get it. I mean, you got to think that the Meta Quest 3 is what, $550 right now? So, I mean, I believe so. Let me give me a price on the Meta Quest 3. I've been looking at myself, $500. So, because of that, I mean, the whole thing is always a price. It's a bid to the bottom. I mean, why is no one using the Valve one, right? No one has a Valve one, especially considering you have to set up posts and sensors around and all the whole thing. The Vive, the ACC Vive, yeah, no one's using the Vive. So, it would make sense that them lowering the price would get you into an introductory VR headset. You know, and I'm into that. That's how much I bought my Meta Quest 2 for, and how much I'm trying to buy a Meta Quest 3 for. Like, I'm negging people online actively, trying to get them to sell it to me used, and trying to like sell my Meta Quest 2 for the upgrade, really. You know, it'd be good to upgrade. I'm interested in VR, but a PSVR 2 for $350 isn't bad. And even this guy here who has no interest in that is still kind of thinking about it. So if they can get me to think about it, I feel like you can get a lot of people just to pull the trigger on it. So a spike of 2,350%, that seems ridiculous, but at the same time, that thing was not selling at all, period. And all of a sudden now it's selling like hotcakes. I mean, how much you got to sell to get 2,350% up? I mean, what's that from zero, right? If you're selling 0%, you sell 2,000 units, which is not many. But that's really looking at it negatively if I'm saying that they were selling zero when they weren't. But that's good for VR, despite Sony completely exiting the VR space and not encouraging new developers, which super sucks. That super sucks. So either way, maybe they're getting rid of their stock. Perhaps they're getting rid of the stock just so that they can exit gracefully and say, "Hey, we're out. Once we sold out, we're done." I mean, I guess that makes sense. Continuing on. New dating sim lets you date your appliances and date everything. Dear Lord, like always, I am into it. Date everything. I'm wishlisting without seeing it. It's a sandbox dating simulator set in the comfort of your own home, featuring 100 fully voice-acted dateable characters. Let the romance flow between your bed, smoke alarm, and... Well, it's giving me the "and" here, and that makes me all sorts of concerned with the ellipses. Oh, yeah, then they're making all of them super sexy. We're getting some, like, sexy toasters. Oh, the vacuum. Oh, the vacuum has abs. Oh, man, yeah. Like, why do the dishes... Oh, okay. Yeah, this is... Dude, I gotta stop watching this trailer and just reacting to this because these are all very handsome appliances. And no one wants to be that guy. But you get an overwhelming sense of existential dread. Are you ready to date everything? If this comes out this year, I'm going to be very excited. Publisher by Team 17, which is, I guess they've done something similar before, right? They published some good games, for sure. Killer Frequency, Blasphemous 1 and 2, Moving Out, yeah, Monster Sanctuary. Yeah, we've seen stuff from them before. I don't think I've seen a dating sim from them, but everyone's got to have one in their pocket. Dredge was good. But Sassy Cheap Games pulling out the Date Everything, their first game that I'm seeing on Steam. So I'm excited to date everything. Sure. If it comes out before November, that's an Extra Life thing. We will get that Extra Life going for Date Everything. And finally, it is time for your freebies. Freebies! I gotta find my Epic Games launcher. I don't even think it's installed. Dang. Let me find Lumberjacks here. Because I'm not sure where this is. I did not prep this beforehand. Oh, this is not working at all. Okay, let me go to Epic. There we go. Oh, get out of here, launcher. No one was talking to you. All right. First freebie. We're going to skip over everybody here. Drawful on Steam. Drawful 2. Drawful 2 is kind of like Pictionary, but with the people who make the Jackbox games. But Drawful 2 has always kind of been broken out into its own little separate thing. So now we got Drawful 2 for sure. Oh, okay. That's why I had this game wrong. It ain't called Lumberjack. It's Lumbearjack. It's a bear. It's a bear lumberjack, and that's adorable. Guys, what are we even doing? A Lumbearjack? Hot damn. Grab your axe and save the environment by chipping and recycling every man-made thing in your path and solving puzzles with your charming animal friends. This guy's wearing suspenders and a trucker hat. What a world. What a world. I'm happy. There's a lot of messed up things in the world happening all around me. Lumbearjack is a light in the darkness. So you can get that free on Epic Game Store. We got Drawful 2 as well. And then the other one is Raw Men. I don't like this title. Raw Men. Food Fighter Arena. The word raw and then men makes me super duper uncomfortable with it with a video game. But in this case, you are fighting food that is made to look like very handsome men, and it's a multiplayer fighter. Raw Men is an outrageous multiplayer battler that cooks up a tasty take on the arena shooter. Sling soup, fling food, and battle as a beefy chef in a game where weapons are an absurd concoction created in the kitchen. Going from Date Everything to Raw Men, I guess that's an easy transition. All of these chefs are beefcakes, though, for sure. Using a pot lid and a ladle as a sword and shield is ultimately hilarious. So, Raw Men, and this game actually just recently launched. So this is also a 1.0, but we're going into free on the Epic Game Store. Raw Men. And lastly, Age of Defense Prehistory. The most addicting tower defense game packed with monsters and tough defenders, all of which fit directly into the cartoonish environment. Prehistory is a prologue for the main story of Age of Defense. So this is like a prologue for Age of Defense. No, it's the prehistory version, which it's fine. It's fine. You want to play some tower defense? You're done with balloons. Get you some Age of Defense. Let's see. The other one that I did not put on here, and this is not, this is kind of free. It's not really. The Power Wash Simulator is really just kind of doubling down on the content. They are just released their summer update with a hose down a cruise ship with this free update. You get all sorts of Power Wash colors and guns. and you're on a cruise ship and you're cleaning off different sections. Now you're in the pool section, you're going to the bar section. It's just an overall very cool like deck and summery vibes of just cleaning up and doing the thing. Power Wash has a real soft spot in my heart. They also accidentally released their next set of side missions. Whoops. So that's just like a couple of side missions, which are like clean. I think it was like a Jeep or a tank or something like that. Muckingham Files 4, which is, it doesn't say what it is. A mansion, as well as a pilot's fireplane. Okay. More to do in that game is always better, and I've 100% all of it so far. So, Power Wash Simulator and their free cruise ship summer update is awesome, and it is live as of today. The Muckingham Files was an accident. A happy accident, if you ask me. Continuing on, I think that we're going to take our next break and we're going to go into the backlog, where I'm just kind of going to dig into some of the games I've been playing, but mostly I want to talk about just some of my favorite short time games. I was thinking about doing a series of just like some short time streams of my short beat list games. So let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. The trick here is that if I'm always looking at my phone and I just grab beers, if I have multiples on my desk, I don't know which one I'm drinking. It works in all the best ways. And we're back! Back with the Backlog Blog, where we play short time, fun time games. I am the king of finding the tiny, small, short time games and using that to crush my opponents, specifically Joel, and how many games I'm going to beat. But really, I'm a sucker for a bite-sized little experience, and because of that, I feel like there's a lot to be gained from a game getting in and getting out relatively quick. And I think that's an art form, really. If you can get in and do something impactful within, an hour and a half to 2 hours, I feel like you did something really well. I applaud that, as opposed to something that overstays its welcome and is filled with bloat. In that vein, I want to talk about some of my favorite short time games that I've played recently, starting with Unsorted Horror. Unsorted Horror. This is an interesting one. It is a compilation. It's a grab bag of little bite-sized. Like if this were food, this would be a little sushi piece that I'm just gonna eat one and be done. And the whole gaming experience is each one of these little bite-sized stories is like 15 minutes. But each time they're very thematic, they're very ambient. It's full of this just atmosphere of oppression and uncertainty and stress. And that's what these kind of games bring, and I think it's a really cool idea. So with Unsorted Horror, the way it's kind of given to you, it is a DVD case, and it's not even a real DVD case; it's a burned disc. And I say that because there was always back in my day, when you used to burn a CD or a movie, you would just have a rack of blank discs that you would throw into a computer, and you would burn a disc and then just put it in like a jewel case. And usually there was Memorex CDs or Verbatim CDs. Like that was the company that made these blank discs. And in this case, they have this jewel case with the horror story on it. And when the way you pick the story that you want to play, pop it open, take out the little fake burnt disc, put it in a computer, and you play the game. And it's so separate. It's supposed to be such a separate instance because you're just going into a shelf, taking a disc out and putting it in your computer, that the little horror vignette that you're playing is separate from the game. It actually opens up a secondary window and is like, okay, here's your vignette, and you play it, and then once it's done, it closes that window and goes back to your, oh, here's a collection of DVDs. And it's such a cool presentation. You know, where there's cover art on the DVD, and it actually does the animation of popping it open, has that nice plastic sound, and you put the finger in the middle of the disc and you pop it out. You load it up into the drive. You see the disc tray. Everything it's a really cool presentation. Then, with that, you play your little, and there's only 5. There's 5 little collections of these games, but each one is just super. It's just full of oozing with atmosphere. The one that's kind of, I'm trying to think of one of the ones that really kind of bugged me was Concrete Tremor. You start as an inmate in what feels like a prison city, and you just sit down, you eat your food. It's like miserable. It's a miserable experience. And someone says, hey, you should go up to the roof. There's some cool stuff on the roof. And you walk up to this spiral staircase to the roof, and you just look around. And it's just a city, a walled city. There's like it's a big square wall around you, and all these buildings are in the walls. And then they pan out, and they show a helicopter, and it says, hey, we got a guy on the roof. Should we take out the guy on the roof? And he's like, nah, he's going to die anyways. And it's like from the helicopter perspective. It's like, that's really weird. Why is that guy going to die? And then the gameplay starts. You're playing Battleship. They have the board in front of you, and you have a little button that presses A9 or B7. And as you do that, you see out in the window your walled city. And on the other side of that wall, you're trying to blow up their buildings, and they are blowing up your buildings, but you can't see them. You're playing Battleship. And just the baseline, like, oh, okay, first let's give them the experience from the ground level. Then really show them that their lives don't matter, and now you're going to just play with their lives. Is just like I felt dirty. I felt gross, and I watched buildings fall. And there's just these little touches. If you miss anything, you don't. I did all of these different points, and I got nothing. I hit nothing. And I said, you missed them all. Now you get a phone call, and my character picks up the phone and says, hey, we're here from Home Safety, and we're trying to evacuate you. What building are you in? And they say, I'm at F7. And then you go, thank you, hang up, and then I just hit F7, and I blew up their building. And it's like, oh, that was dark, and that was mean, and it felt bad. But that's the game, and that it's just that was the game. I won or lost, and it said, great, you're done with that game. Next, and pop out the DVD, put that in the DVD case and put it away. Grab a new one. It was just such a cool experience that I felt like throughout the whole thing, it feels oppressive, and it feels uncomfortable, and it feels gross, and that's the point. And it's a pretty cool point to do these different tasks and have again, sometimes it's just like one of them had me trying to break into the world's super brain computer to insert yourself into VR in a way that shouldn't be done. And it just ends up in a place of just like this weird cyber horror, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, and now I'm stuck forever. These kinds of ideas, and the whole time it's just like a very like tense situation. Like, oh, we're gonna hack the cyber computer. Be careful. Like there's security coming. And it feels nervous, and then you do it, and then you get the horror about it, and you're like, oh, that was grim. I don't know if I feel great about that. But that's what kind of these things are. It's just these 5 little mini horror experiences that I really enjoyed, and I really had a good time with what they kind of gave me. I feel like at the end of the day, I got just a little bit Just a little something that I felt like, oh, okay, this is something that I really like. This is something that kind of took me and took me for a ride in a little experience, and I like that. So, and let's see what else I got. Let's talk about. I don't know if we've talked about Please Touch the Artwork too. I don't remember if we have, but I'm happy to say I like Please Touch the Artwork too. In this game, it's a hidden object finding game, but it's through paintings, and these are real world paintings. And I like that it gave me an experience to sit and stare and analyze paintings and just enjoy my paintings. And this, as soon as I was done with that game, I looked up all those paintings. I was like, this guy was a cool artist. And it was Thomas Waterzool. Zooey? I'm not great at this. But it was like it was a very fun experience of going through like a art museum, but then keeping me engaged with the artwork, so that I could like also play something with it, and just being around it like pretty consistently. So just like staring at a painting, looking for hidden objects, I'm also still just also appreciating the art in its entirety, and I like that. It was better than Please Touch the Artwork 2 or 1, which ended up being like a bunch of like stories through art, which wasn't the same because it wasn't based off of historical art. And I want there to be some sort. I want to use my art history degree. Not my art history degree, but the classes I took for art history, they're meaningful. Took art history for a reason, and it was to enjoy these paintings. And Please Touch the Artwork too. Continuing on. I finished Children of the Sun. Children of the Sun is the first person, not first person. It's a sniper game. You are a child who has powers to shoot a bullet, and then if it hits somebody, you could then turn and control the bullet to the next spot. Just making a constant chain. You really only have one bullet, but you have to take out, say, 7 guys. So you put it at one guy, then turn and hit it to the next guy and the next guy. And it's really just about exploring the map and figuring out what the best way to shoot a single person to then trail it into 7 other people. And it did a lot with that mechanic. I remember thinking about how interesting, how they can adjust it, how they can switch it up. And one of them ended up being in an actual car chase. And you can shoot your bullet, but the cars are actively moving around you. When you're controlling the bullet, you slow down time, but once you hit something, time kind of speeds up. So there's moving cars, and you're shooting down the highway as these cult members are you're chasing after the cult members. And it really is a revenge tale about about a child who had his family destroyed by a cult. And I thought it ended pretty well. Like I thought I could tell like a really a cohesive story by the end, which kind of looped back in on itself in a very funny way. But for the most part, I felt like the mechanics, they did do well to update and change these mechanics. Excuse me. Things like the car chase, or they also made it where there was like a big palace and you had to kill the first 5 guys before a wall broke, like a force field broke down, and now you have to kill 7 more guys. So it was about finding the path to the first 5 guys, but you're still only using the single bullet. So once you hit that 5th guy, portal comes down. Okay, now where am I going? Now how do I plan for this new set of enemies? And that was pretty cool. They give you a lot of tricky powers, like you can curve the bullet at a certain point, or you can like make it go far away and then return it back like a rubber band. They do a lot with that mechanic, and just the idea of like these creepy cult members and how religion itself can be used as a weapon in a really interesting cel-shaded manner, like hand-drawn. There are little interstitial story beats, but they're all done in kind of the the comic in action kind of way, where you'll see it like a comic book page, but then the character kind of moves a little bit. There's a little bit of motion to it. So I like it. I like the motion comic artwork and the way it moves. So I think Children of the Sun was a really good one of those. And I am pretty good for right now on the short time games. I think I have some more to do, but I do want to take this time to try to announce a game of shame. And I've been doing this thing for a little bit, and to me it behooves me to do this solo because I have no protesters. I have no protesters here, so I'm going to use this time to announce a game of shame for everybody on this podcast. You guys now have to play a game of shame, and I'm going to make sure that you guys all buy it and play it, and we will discuss it next time everyone is together. I'm going to talk about another short time game that I'm excited to play, and I'm going to pull it up here. I just want to make sure I have it. So, Strange Scaffold. Let's talk about them. Strange Scaffold has kind of come out as this really out there developer. They've been kind of making these very strange games that I've been kind of very intrigued by. Let me pull. Is this one of them? Yeah. Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator. A game about taking alien organs and selling them on the black market. That was a numbers game, and that was a weird one. Joel DeWitte played for us, and it was a fun thing. He played it for like a couple of years ago, so it was definitely something more interesting to hear about. As like I've never heard of something like this, but they have that since put out a bunch of games, including El Paso Elsewhere, which I'm playing through right now because that was my White Elephant gift, and I really enjoy that. El Paso Nightmare, Sunshine Shuffle, which is one that I'm kind of looking at now and putting it in my wish list. Life Eater, which I own, but I have not played. But, staying within the theme of short time games, also out there ideas, also me making this a game of shame because everybody will be ashamed. We're going to play a game called Clickholding. Clickholding. Clickholding? The man in the corner of your hotel room wants you to click something, and he wants to watch you click it. And that's what we're going to play. It's a game about having a clicker and clicking, but because the man wants you to click, and he wants to watch you do it. And throughout the game, he will continue to give different little inputs here and there about, hey, check out this painting. This painting's pretty cool. But also, for the most part, you're sitting in a deeply disturbing, upsetting, like a very seedy hotel room, and someone is asking you to click something or else he can't finish. It's out there. So, it's also, again, Strange Scaffolding. I'm still waiting for their other game that's going to be coming out soon. I can't find it right now, but they have a new one coming out that I'm very excited for. I Am Your Beast. I Am Your Beast. There we go. I'm very excited for I Am Your Beast. So, but Clickholding will be our game of shame, and we will definitely be playing that for the show. And that's going to get me to one last thing. One last thing is where we give one last statement, one last sentence, sending us into the weekend, and you, the listener, into the weekday. For me, because I'm the only one here, and no one else is podcasting with me, I'm going to go on vacation. I'm loading up the Steam Deck as we speak. I'm loading up the Switch. The Switch is already, Bo, the Path of the Teal Lotus, I'm told is great. I'm excited to play it. I want to go get through some El Paso Elsewhere. I'm gonna get in the sun, be in the sun. I'm a brown man. I'm in the sun a lot. It's fine. But I'm gonna enjoy some time with my family, and I'm gonna play some games. I'm gonna read some books, read some graphic novels, do the relaxing thing, decompress from this solo episode, which has traumatized me as much as it's traumatized you to listen to. And that will be it for this week's Super GG Radio. Before we go, you can find us on Twitter at Super GG Radio and twitch.tv/Super GG Radio, where Wednesday nights, it is back, baby. Week 1 done, Boss 1 done, Drunk Souls. I'm playing Demon Souls. I'm drinking when I'm dying. This one might be a little bit tricky because Demon Souls ain't too bad so far. Might get real drunk in the back half, so we'll see. That'll be on Wednesdays. Thursday is podcast night. There will be a podcast next week, even without me. At least there should be. I'm staring at you guys really hard right now. It's an audio medium, Alex. Stop staring at the camera. And those are the 2 days. I'm still thinking about possibly doing a short, timey stream. We'll see, just to play around with, like, here are the games that'll take me like a stream to finish. So we'll continue on with that. Also, make sure to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/SuperGGRadio, where you can donate to us. All that money goes to charity, but also it'll help us, like, want to get more people knowing who we are. We're trying to get people to rate us on iTunes, Spotify, what have you. Just, so we can get the name out there. You can, if you donate to our Patreon and donate to our Extra Life, you get things like pictures of our dogs. You get to play video games with us. I'll be sending you codes for games. I'm going to be sending you stickers. I'm going to be sending you merch. We're going to keep hanging out and doing the thing. And it also just, encourages us to keep going. We might do some extra bonus content based on Patreon and how people do with that. So that will be awesome. Also, check out our YouTube channel where you'll find our latest beta breakdown of Hellskate. If you'd like to reach us with questions or input, our email address is mail@superggradio.com, and provide a review on iTunes or the podcast app of your choice. Thanks for listening. GG, everybody.